What is up, Wolverine Nation? It is your boy, TJ Ronin, with our guest, Tanner Wooten from Blue by 90. Couldn't be happier to have him on. Before we get into the introductions, I want to let everybody know you can please subscribe and like the video and share with a friend. And you can find our podcast on all podcast platforms from Spotify to Apple. Greatly appreciate if you guys begin following us on there, as well as giving us a rating and a review. It'd mean a lot to us. And as you guys know, the format for the call-in show is for every $100 from memberships to sponsors to super stickers, we go another hour. So if you guys want to go 4 hours, 5 hours, we'll do it. As you guys know, also who watched last week's show, we had a little bit of shenanigans. We are looking to avoid that. And if it does happen again, I do have a plan of attack. So we'll see what we do there. And for everybody watching, thank you for watching the Voice of College Football call-in show. And Tanner, my good friend, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. You know, I got the hoodie on. It's a little cooler. Yeah, just, can feel that buzz in the air. I know the students are getting back. I'm avoiding downtown Ann Arbor like the plague, but it's my favorite time of year, man. We got week 0 on Saturday, so 2 days from college football starting, and we're real close, man. It's a great time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we are literally 1 week away, Tanner. We are 1 week away.
Hey, 1 week from right now, I'm going to be YouTube TV, multi-view, Minnesota, UNC, North Dakota State, Colorado. That is if YouTube TV can figure out to get the best games on at the same time. Like, I don't need FCS D2. Appreciate all football, but get me all the big games on Thursday night on one TV. And then Friday, I'll definitely be checking out FAU, MSU, and then Saturday, man. Saturday's got some bangers. Clemson, Georgia. Obviously, Michigan's at home at night. I'm amping myself up. I don't know if you can tell. Like, I'm the juices are flowing, man.
Yeah, man. I've been waiting all summer for this. I'm tired of all the bullshit talk, about everything over the summer, like whatever. It's time for ball, man. So
absolutely.
So let's get into some ball, Tanner. So, all right, here's my question. Here's my questions I like to throw at every guest. Who do you think is going to be QB1? But then who do you want to be QB1 on week 1 of this year?
All right, I have to say this. I'm a big Davis Warren guy. He's been on our show before over at Blue by 90. Great kid, and I think he's super talented. But with that said, he also told me that he would be in a foxhole with me, and so that's in my Twitter bio. Shout out to him. He's the man. But for me, it's got to be Alex Orji, man, for both answers, because I want him to be the quarterback because I think the ceiling is so high. I mean, with his athleticism, his ability to take, 10 to 12 carries a game, if not more, and be able to wear down a defense in that run game. And then you're putting that defense in a tough spot, right? Trying to defend him, Donovan, Kalel. Obviously, the passing is where it really comes down to, because we haven't seen him throw. But the thing that really kind of gives me some confidence is all season last year, and even as a freshman, right? He comes in, Orji Cat package. We know what the deal is. But in that Alabama game, you knew something was coming from that package. You knew a deep shot or some sort of pass play. Alabama read it perfectly. And what did he do? He didn't try to force it in there. He got 2 yards. Right. He stepped out of bounds, right? So that decision-making, that ability to process information from the defenses that they face, if that's going to be kind of a sign of things to come, then I'm going to feel really comfortable with him. It sounds like all the reports have been, really positive from his command of the huddle, from his ability to throw the ball. So I'm hopeful that it's Orji. I would feel confident with Davis Warren. I would say I would feel confident with Jack Tuttle, but it seems like he's just not able to stay on the field, and you can't have that. You need consistency at that quarterback position. So I feel good with either guy, but I just think, the ceiling of the offense and the things that you can do with Alex Orji, that's got to be my guy.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're on the same page. We're definitely team Orji here. And I want to give a shout out to Darren Talks Ball. What's up, Darren? He will be joining me on the call-in show next week, August 29th. So be on the lookout for that. Looking forward to that, Darren. I agree with you, man. And it is a kind of a shame about the Jack Tuttle situation. I mean, for those who don't know, Tanner kind of alluded, he's going through a bit of, some injuries right now to begin camp or through camp right now. So it just kind of is what it is. It's been the story of his career. So, obviously we wish him the best, but I guess I'll ask you this question. Freaking Moose is hilarious. When I'm sure you saw the Jack Tuttle smoke or hype kind of picking up before camp. Did you believe those rumors? What was your thought on those rumors? Let us know.
I don't know, because I had heard that he was, he had done really well in some of the, the off-season stuff, but I
Mhm.
also heard that he had been dinged up. And so
Right.
it sounds like over the last couple of weeks that that's been the case. So no, I mean, he was a highly rated guy coming out of high school. He goes to Utah, he transfers after a year, goes to Indiana. He's obviously been in college quite a while. And so, a guy that is going to have the offense down, is going to be a great leader. I think he's athletic. I kind of like what I saw from him in spot, in mop up duty last year. Whenever Michigan would kind of get a big lead and they'd shuffle through the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I always thought it was going to be Orji. I just the sense that I got from the program is there's just so much talent there. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
has a big arm. I mean, this has nothing to do with football, but just to show, how great of an athlete he is, you see the videos of him dunking 360 windmill between the legs, like ridiculous level of athlete doing the backflips. The thing, I'm going back to Orgy now, but and I also love that we can just say that. And like, a year ago or 2 years ago, I would have chuckled. Now I'm an adult, and it's like, that's his name, but it's still very funny to me.
Yeah.
But the MSU game, man, there was a play. I can't remember where it was on the field, but he was down and I think he was like diving forward, but he just like did a front flip or something and just landed it. It was just ridiculous. Just the athleticism that he's got, in
I
that
know.
MSU game, scoring with 8 seconds left. QB power all the way and just, running through dudes. So, I've kind of always felt that it would be Orgy, even with some of the, again, big Davis Warren fan, really like the kid. He's a great dude and, big fan of his. But I just think with this offensive line being a little bit newer, I think having a guy that's that athletic and quick is going to be a really big help for the team overall as an offense. So I just have always felt it would be Orgy.
Yeah. I'm with you there. All right. So then let me what is your season prediction for Michigan this year? And give me the ceiling, give me the floor, but what is your most realistic prediction as well?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's tough, right? Because it goes with the quarterback, but this defense is going to be extremely elite. I mean, we had Jake Butt on our show, and we had Trevor McHugh from Rivals, and we had Bryce Marich from 247, and Clayton Safey from On Three. So we've kind of hit the rounds with everybody. Everyone is talking about the defense as potentially, at least across the first 11, as better than last year's defense and the best of the last 4 years, right? Like that's what we're hearing. Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Josiah Stewart, Derek Moore, Will Johnson's the best player in the country. Mason Graham might be second. Jay-Sean Barham is just balling out of his mind right now. Ernest Hausman was third on the team in tackles despite not starting a game. I think he had the 14th most snaps and was third in tackles. So highly productive player. I mean, it sounds like Jair Hill has really locked down that cornerback too. I mean, if Rod Moore was healthy, man, it would be, my hype levels might be through the roof on this defense.
I
But
say that.
you have Wes Walker coming in from Tennessee, right? Who's played a ton of football. You've got Mangum from Michigan State coming in, who's got a couple years of eligibility. You've got Amir Hall. You've got Ricky Johnson, I believe is his name, from UNLV. I always get it confused with Ricky White, who's still there, who torched Michigan in 2020. But by the way, Ricky White is a stud in College Football 25. I don't know if you use UNLV, he's a monster. But this defense is just ridiculous. So yeah, I feel, gosh, I mean, if the quarterback play is where I think it could be, I'm going to say 8-4 ceiling. Honestly, 12-0, or I'm sorry, 8-4 floor. No, guys, don't come for me. Floor 8-4. Ceiling 12-0, because I think this defense is so good. I don't think they're going to go 12-0. I think it's just the schedule is a little bit, tougher than Michigan's faced in the last few years. But I just have a lot of faith in this defense. And don't forget, special teams are extremely important. Michigan might have the best punter in the country now that Torrey Taylor's in the NFL, leaving Iowa.
What about our kicker?
Absolutely, you bring in the
All-American level kicker.
Yep, you bring him in from Arkansas State, and you let him battle it out with Samaha, or if Samaha needs another year of seasoning, then that's a-okay too. So special teams defense are going to lead the way for this team. But I have a feeling that with Sherrone Moore and Kirk Campbell, that they're going to come up with some things that can confuse teams on film, and then also confuse them within the game. I just think there's a lot of talent, and it's a lot of unproven guys, right? But you also have Colson Loveland, who's the best tight end in the country, should win the MAC. You've got Donovan Edwards, who we know, when he's healthy and he gets the bulk of the carries, can put up some big yards and have monster games. Kalel Mullings might be one of the most underrated players in the country. Max Bredesen is the most underrated or underappreciated player in the country. What he does for this offense and what he did last year just doesn't get appreciated enough. So, the O-line, obviously, five new starters. I mean, Miles Hinton started a few games last year. I think he's going to be much better than last year. Gio El Hadi played a lot. So, yeah, I mean, realistically, I'm thinking like 10-2, 11-1 for this team. I don't know where those losses come. It's going to be there's a lot of big games on the schedule, but I think they're going to get some of those upset wins that people are kind of counting them out for already.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we'll get to my last question for you before we get to our first caller, Juju, my guy. Thanks, Juju, for waiting on the line for us. All right, what is this defense going to rank by the end of the year nationally?
Yards, points,
total
SP plus,
total defense. Yep.
I'm gonna say top 10. It's just hard to predict. I think they're gonna be one of the best defenses in the country, right? But then, like what if you're put in a bad spot by your offense, right? And I'm not saying that's always gonna be the case, but it's not gonna be like last year where JJ McCarthy's just picking up every single third down and long, either with his arm or with his legs, right? So I think it's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's going to be top 5, top 10 for sure. And that's still elite, man. Like that's still fantastic. So, it's hard to predict when you don't know, is the offense going to be, ball control? Are they going to be big play and you're on the field a lot more? I don't know because they do have big play potential. No matter what people say, Samaj Morgan, Colson Loveland, Donovan Edwards, like you have big play potential. So are you going to be going on those 15 play drives? I hope so. But, I don't know how consistent they're going to be like the 2023 team was.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And, did you see the reports today about Rod Moore?
Yeah, I saw that might be Coach Rod and Player Rod. So
yeah, there you go. So, yeah.
If we get him back, if Michigan gets him back by Ohio State, that's a huge win.
Yeah, so for those unfamiliar with what was, released today, essentially Rod Moore has said that he's looking to come back this year, and training's going well so far. So we'll see. I mean, when is that going to be? We talked about it on Tuesday's show. We're thinking maybe November, but there's no rush. Like if we get in the playoffs and we could get Rod Moore back, like that's perfect because he'll have enough time to get ready, and then we have Rod Moore back for the playoff run. That's everything we could ask for, really. So. Yeah, great news. Looking forward to that. So before we get to our first caller, I just want to remind everybody the format for the call-in show is for every $100, whether it be memberships, super chats, super stickers. We go an extra hour. Tanner's going to be with us for the first hour. Then I'm going to be taking over after. Appreciate Tanner for being on. Now let's get to our first caller, Juju, my guy. What is up, bro?
Yo, what's good? Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my fault. I missed the Tuesday show, man. I had some parenting shit I had to do.
I know, bro. I was calling you out like 3-4 times, man.
I know. I ran back and watched it. You said something about the Trey Pierce thing, huh?
Yeah, so there's word that Trey Pierce has been making enough noise to potentially be in the rotation. So, I mean, I think like we talked about, we did a defensive line preview. People, Tanner, like I'm sure one of the biggest concerns going into this new year was the lack of depth, but from what we've heard on our end is that the depth is better than anticipated going into camp, because you have, at the defensive tackle position, for example, you have Rashawn Benny. We know he's coming back. He's healthy. You have Enau Etta now transitioning to that position. And by all accounts out of camp, the word is he's looking pretty sound. And then Trey Pierce has gotten a little bit of recognition lately. So, I mean, that's 5 defensive tackles. Now, do I think they'll go 5 deep? I don't know. But the good news, I do expect at least a 4-man rotation like last year. And the way I look at it, Tanner, and you let me know, I think we're 7 deep on the defensive line when you add TJ Guy. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Tanner?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think, the thing that is weird about, obviously Michigan loses 18 starters, but it's like nobody expects any guys to make a leap. I mean, this is what college football is all about, right? You get into your freshman year and you're maybe not quite ready, but you go through the strength and conditioning program. You're eating right. You're learning the playbook. You're learning the different nuances that come with playing your position, and you make that leap, right? And typically freshman to sophomore to junior, like those are some of the biggest leaps that you see guys take. So a guy like Trey Pierce, I was so stoked when Michigan was able to get him away from Illinois. or was it Wisconsin? One of those two, because they do fantastic. Both those schools have done a great job with defensive tackles lately. Very excited about his potential. Same with Etta coming in. I mean, he was listed at like 280 coming out of high school and was listed as an edge. And I was like, brother, you ever heard of Chris Jenkins? Like, you're going to play the 5 tech, right? Like, you're going to bulk up and you're going to slide inside and you're going to be a pretty good player for us, I have to imagine. TJ Guy, definitely excited about him. There's a lot of guys like Keyshawn Bennett has been kind of talked about. I mean,
man,
2020, 2021 class. So, you've got some guys that are, have been a year away. Well, now it's that time. And so can you make that leap and be a player for Michigan? That's the exciting part about every new season, especially when you have a lot of question marks, but question marks aren't bad. You may just not know where that production is going to come from.
Hey, how many years do you think Keyshawn been away?
I've been hearing a year away for the last 2. So, I mean,
Juju's not a Keyshawn fan.
I mean, has he played enough to not be a fan?
I mean,
that's the problem. He's not getting on the field. Like
who was he playing over last year? Though?
Not hearing nothing. Yeah, no, you're behind.
That's true. That's true. I haven't heard much buzz this year. That's a great point. But I mean, just the last 2 off seasons and camps.
Right.
It's like he's a year away. It's like, well, is that going to come to fruition or no? Are we not doing it?
Yeah,
I mean, you had to move Cameron Brandt to edge, because if you've seen in the spring game, he was playing interior. So, and then he dropped weight and they moved him out. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't watch this, bro. I'll be honest. I have not watched the spring game in depth the last 3 years.
Man,
it's I used to hang on the spring game, man. Like, oh, you see what Denard did in the spring game. Now it's like, I don't,
Yeah.
I love that. I don't want to touch on the offensive line, because the roundtable saying West said that there's a lot of smoke around Evan Link right now, with that right tackle, and I didn't know anything about the center position. I'm thinking, okay, Crip is going to tell you, but in Twitter space, and Trevor was in our space, and little birdie told me that Crip was out the last couple of days with a little injury bug, and Raheem Anderson might be in that role. He might take over. So, I mean, I'm fine with Anderson if he take over. But how okay are y'all if Evan Link, comes along?
Do you want to take that one, or you want me to? No, I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like it could go one of 2 ways, right? Because he's a redshirt freshman, but he's also big time recruiting win in his class. Mm-hmm. He's obviously got the size, and again, that freshman and sophomore year lead. Now, for offensive linemen, I typically prefer at the very youngest a redshirt sophomore. Yeah. But I mean, and Andrew Gentry is battling for that position with Jeff Percy, right? So Jeff Percy played against Rutgers in 22, was okay, filled in for Ryan Hayes. Didn't wow me, but also wasn't awful. But he's a 5th year? This is his 5th year. He was a 2020 recruit. So it's like, I mean, if it hasn't clicked in 5 years, then I don't know, when it will, at least to be a starting level.
Yeah, you're getting pushed by a redshirt freshman. So
yeah. Gentry is a guy that I really wish would have just kind of taken that right tackle job, just because, and maybe 100%. This is just kind of, caring too much about rankings, but I mean, he was a massive, massive recruit in 2020. Michigan initially misses out. He transfers after Bronco Mendenhall's out at Virginia. And it's like, man, he's massive. His high school film was disgusting. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it. This dude is nasty, mean street. I mean, for a kid going on a Mormon mission for 2 years, he was mean. Yeah. Like finishing blocks. Like I love that. Like I love seeing an offensive lineman that finishes blocks, plays tough, nasty. I mean, you're driving dudes into the ground. So I always thought that he had a ton of potential, but he spent 2 years away from football. This is his 3rd year into the program now. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think I would prefer one of the older guys to get it, but I think Evan Link might be one of those, big time recruits that just is ready to go in year 2. That sometimes happens. I mean, Caden Proctor played as a true freshman last year. Now he's top 10, player and 5-star, but it's not that unheard of for guys to come in year 2 and be ready to go. It's just, all the mental stuff that comes with being an offensive lineman. So I don't know if it worries me. It's intriguing, but I'm with you though. Like I would probably prefer for the older guy to get the job, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world if Evan Link wins it.
Yeah, hey, let me give a shout out to Nick here for the $2 super chat. He says capping coaches, Tanner might appreciate this. He's a gamer. Capping coaches level at 50 is total BS on NCAA 25.
I got a lot to say about that game, bro. I got a lot to say, but I'm not gonna no, but I'm close. But I know what that does. Like, you can't do certain things. I'm having fun, but there's a lot of things I could say. I don't want to bore anybody with it, but there's a lot of things that just if they just fixed it, it'd be great.
Well, you know what bothers me? I'll just say this. I know, Juju, that we'll get to your next question, but the repetitiveness of the game sometimes frustrates me. Like, one, you get the music in the game is repetitive, and then, like, I'll be honest, I've gotten to the point where, like, I know what plays I run in certain situations, and I'll be honest, I'm getting bored. I've gotten bored of the game.
I've changed my playbook like 4 times in my dynasty because it's just too easy. That might be a solution. That might be a solution. I don't know. I'm kind of locked in with it, but I'm still enjoying it. Like, doing the online dynasty with my guys, like dudes for my wedding party and guys I went to high school with. Like, that's where it gets fun. But I don't know, man. It's good. I mean, it's good to have the game back, but at the end of the day, it is EA Sports. So, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, right. All right, Juju, what else you got for us, my friend?
Did you guys watch the Rob Moore interview?
No, I did watch the Alex Orji one though that they did with Champion Circle, which was pretty good. I didn't see the Rob Moore one.
Yeah, Sam Webb sat down with them. Yeah, Sam Webb sat down, but it's pretty safe to say he's not coming back. That it's like he basically said that it's going to take a massive like NIL deal like to get him back.
Oh, you mean for next year?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant this year because I was like, that's not.
No, he did say though, which was very intriguing. Which I don't think he's coming back because I heard him say. He said, I'm rehabbing till the end of the year. And I was like, well, that means you're not coming back. Because Sam Webb asked him about the rehab. And he said, yeah, I'm going to rehab throughout the year. And I was like, okay, well, I guess he's not returning. I mean, that's the only thing that I could put in my head. He might, but
I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I'll say this, though. I mean, I feel we'll find out. I mean, but I would say this, when it comes to Rod Moore, if you say you have an injury like he had, and then you miss an entire year, your draft stock is not going to be as high as he wants it to be. So he may, I think some NIL, some those who stay might have something to say about it. We'll see though. It's obviously at the end of the year. We'll see where we are there. I mean,
that's the reason he came back, because he was hurt last season.
Yeah. He missed how many games? He missed quite a few.
And he got hurt. Guys, he got hurt in spring. Guys, he got hurt in spring ball.
No, last season. He missed.
No, last season.
He missed
3 games. He missed
a few games. It took him a while to kind of get back.
I'm talking about his recent injury. I'm talking
about injury. But I think we're on the same point. But yeah, last year, he gets hurt. I think in fall camp. I can't remember exactly what he did.
Yeah, he got bad luck with fall camp.
Oh my god! And he, I felt like it took him a little bit to come back, but when he was back, he was back. He was making.
He came back at Rutgers and missed that tackle, and it went 70 yards.
Yeah, right. And he was, man. I don't know if you guys can see, but I got I don't know how to do this. That's Rod Moore and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I love that picture. It's my favorite Michigan-Ohio State rivalry picture ever. I'm so bummed about that. Not just obviously a great player, but like it just stinks to see a kid coming back for senior year, playing himself potentially into a second or third round pick, maybe even first if he has a great year, and to get hurt in spring practice, like it just stinks. But to speak to the Michigan culture, like, hey, he's not going anywhere. He's here. He's helping. He's working out. He's doing what he needs to do while being involved with the team activities. Like, I think that just speaks to, the culture that Michigan's built, and also just the type of dude that Rod Moore is, man. Like, just a kid you're going to root for no matter what,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And like you said earlier, man, if he was in this defense, I would almost guarantee it's a better defense this year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It sucks, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll say that. Like I said, I just don't. If Rob Moore doesn't go down, I don't think we have the depth that we do now. Like,
it's also a good point. I mean, because they went and got 4 DBs in the spring portal.
True.
Yeah, it's true. I also think we're going to be top 5, but yeah, I got just one more thing. I want to touch on the the Iowa situation. So, you think they're getting the death penalty?
Yeah, for tampering for Cade or whatever. Is that what you're talking about?
It's the dumbest. It's the dumbest, dude. It's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen.
How wild is it? They go after Iowa for this shit. When it's so out in the open, teams are offering these kids monies before the transfer portal even opens. You know, like what happened to Xavier. Like I was actually in a chat with Moose earlier today. Like what happened with Xavier Worthy is the epitome of the tampering. Like there was no transfer portal window. Like Sarkisian just literally got Xavier Worthy to leave Michigan and come to Texas. You know what I mean? Like every school's doing this. They're all offering bags, and they're going to go after freaking Iowa. Like
we've got to get to a point where there's regulation and
Yeah.
limits, and because like everything that's kind of it's crazy. Like all this change to college football is just all happening at once, like within like a 10-year window. You know, you start with the portal, then you introduce NIL, and then you introduce these super conferences. Outside of the super conferences, like NIL and portal on their own are good ideas, but when you combine them and you can bounce and bounce and bounce from school to school to school, what are we even doing here? Like it's a miracle that Michigan was able to keep its roster intact as much as it has. I mean, they only got hit by with a couple guys leaving, and it's absurd.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, TJ, did you hear anything behind the scenes on that in the Iowa situation?
Well, you know what's interesting about that is everyone's familiar with the Matt Weiss situation. So, you know how, like, I don't know. I think a lot of it's out now, so I don't think I'm saying anything that's not known. But, he got in trouble and he got raided for hacking. So what occurred was when Cade McNamara and Eric All they were in conversations with Iowa. Matt Weiss hacked into player emails, which was Cade McNamara, and
that's what it was.
Yes, that's why everyone's like trying to figure out what it was. It's because he hacked into players' emails to show that things were happening, like they were being tampered with. That was the whole thing. But you can't do that, so that's why his computers got raided and all that shit. So that's like how that all went down. It was because those two guys went to Iowa, which is kind of weird though, because at the end of the day, like they were moving on to JJ anyways. Like I don't know why it was such a big deal for Weiss to go like find evidence. We got
Kirk, and
I know.
I didn't have to watch the Philly special on 4th down or whatever the hell.
No, I'm not a big fan of Cade anyway. I mean, I just I don't think I have someone that's that close to that situation and everything that I had picked up some information from, and I don't know if it's gonna go public or not. But that whole situation, I hope it goes public. It's gonna be crazy. Cade is who we thought he was. Like after that interview, did you guys watch that interview with him in Michigan?
Where he was talking about, he was talking shit about Michigan.
Well, that and it just matches up. That's all, man.
Well,
bro,
I'll say this though. I did want to see him last year play. Like, I'm just interested to see because we know Iowa's offense is poverty. Like I just wanted to see what he could do. Like, and not expecting much either. Like, I wasn't expecting anything amazing. I just I don't know. I like when kids transfer out. I'm interested to watch them. Like, what are they capable of doing? Did Michigan? Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't actually fit for Cade McNamara, but like, did Michigan lose out on somebody? Cade McNamara is not that guy. But like, for example, Keon Saab, I'll be watching him. But like, because majority of the players who transfer from Michigan outside of Xavier Worthy really haven't been. I mean, Zach Charbonnet was legit at UCLA, but like a lot of these guys who transfer out, we really are not losing much. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm interested. I don't know. I like watching it. I like watching these dudes see what they're up to, but whatever. I mean, Cade's whatever. I mean, he got us our first Big Ten title. We got our dub over Ohio State, right? So it is what it is. It just sucks he was so salty about it,
Yeah, like I always appreciated 2021, but like,
yeah,
I don't know, just leaving on those terms is just strange to me. And then like referring to JJ McCarthy as the other guy, like he's like Voldemort or something, like was so weird. And then his quarterback coach, Jordan Palmer, egging him on was just like also weird because he's like in his 40s. Like you're an adult. Like why are we talking like high school kids here? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I always appreciate him, but I just think the way that he left was awful. And Eric All went to Iowa, and I wish him nothing but the best. It's not like I wish ill will on Cade, but like I thought Eric All, outside of his dad going crazy on Twitter, handled it. I don't know if anybody remembers that. That was a wild time.
Yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that.
That was a wild time. After the situation happened, he was named the starting quarterback. It's ironic. I mean, it's wild to me. But I just got one more question.
Go for it.
How much 22 personnel do you think we're gonna run with Mullings and Downer?
A lot, I hope. I mean, give me jumbo tight end as well. Like I want Marlon. I think Marlon Klein's gonna be really good in the passing game. I need to see him as a blocker. We know, Colston isn't the worst blocker in the world, but he's also not AJ Barner. So, give me the 6-0 line, whoever that's going to be. Give me the 6-0 lineman, whether that's Crippen or Anderson or one of the guys that loses out. Yeah, give me him in number 80 with no name on the back, and let's run duo and let's smash somebody's face in. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, and also there's word out of camp that Colson Loveland's being moved around on offense. So I mean, we've talked about this. You can move Donovan Edwards in the slot, a lot of options with this offense. So
yeah, that's what Ohio State is doing with QJ Quinshawn. They're moving him in the slot. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Ohio State does. But yeah, I don't know. You got anything else for us, Juju?
No, that's pretty much it. No, I ain't got nothing else. So I appreciate it for real.
All right, my man. Wait, guess what? Next week, dog, it's game week. All right. So call in, bro. We'll talk some more ball. All right.
Before the game, or is it after?
Well, the game's Saturday, so but our next call-in. So I'm just saying, dog, you call in every week.
Oh, you do the pregame show. I'm thinking that you're doing a call-in show. No,
I'm talking about Thursday, dog. We got a game to talk about.
Yeah, I got mad confused. It's been a long week, man. Parenting, bro.
I know you sound tired as hell, bro.
Man, this little man is running me through the ringer.
Yeah, Tanner was going through it too before he got on here.
Oh man, my daughter just turned a month old. We had to give her a bath, and I was like, I gotta go do the podcast. I'm sorry.
You're in the newborn stage?
Oh yeah, bro. But she's screaming at my wife, I'm like, we got her out of the bath into the towel, and she was not happy. So I checked back in 5 minutes later because I came over earlier than I needed to be on, and I was like, you good? She's like, yeah, she's fine. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go.
You averaging 4 hours of sleep? That's about what I'm getting.
No, she'll sleep from 9 till 2, and then about 2:30 till 5:30. So it's not terrible, but it could be better.
Hey, good luck to you, and congrats on the newborn.
I appreciate it, man. Same to you, buddy.
All right, Juju.
I appreciate y'all. Go blue, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's give a shout out to Justin for the $5 super chat. Oh my God, the NCAA is going after every college football team this year. Iowa, Alabama, now we're in trouble. Yeah, except they're not going after Miami, Texas, Ohio State.
What happened with Alabama? I didn't see this.
I haven't seen it yet either. I don't know. I
saw that message and I went to Twitter and I didn't see anything, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay, yeah, I don't know, but hey, thanks Justin for the $5 super chat. All right, we're gonna pull our next caller on. We'll see how it goes. What is up, Evan?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up? I just want to talk about the Texas game. The more that I think about it, the more I get excited about it because obviously up front, they lost their 2 good defensive tackles, and Michigan's run game is, hopefully going to be one of the best in the country. And then on the opposite side, the guy that you had in earlier, the Texas side, I don't want to disparage him too much, but he said that, they're going to do enough in the run game to keep him honest. And I'm like, why? How is that possible? They don't have their starting running back. And how are you going to run against the best defensive line in the country? So I think they're just completely shut them down. And then Michigan's defense is set up to stop that, the Ohio State high-flying passing offense. And I think they're just going to kind of the way Steve Sarkisian coaches, he's just kind of like Ryan Day in the same way that it's he wants to, go flashy and look sexy and everything. So if the run game is working, like the game when Texas played Washington, the run game was working. And he just got impatient. And he started throwing the ball everywhere. And Ewers is a great quarterback. But he can be erratic at times. Like the last play of the game, he threw it out of bounds to Adonai Mitchell. He couldn't even caught the ball. If he jumped 10 feet. So, I don't know. What do you guys thought?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're on it. They didn't just lose their starter. They lost their backup, too. They're down to the 3rd string right now at running back. And so, I mean, we've had our Texas guy a part of our show. He's been on twice now. He's going to be on again for the week of the game. He's going to be on for both of our shows. And, I mean – I agree with you. I mean, run game, I don't see it happening. They're going to have to beat us through the air. But, I mean, as we know, our defense is built to, confuse quarterbacks and have disguises. So it's going to be interesting. And, what a lot of people don't mention is they also lost both their wide receivers. They lost their tight end from last year. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts for Texas. So I feel good about the game as well. It's at home. I'm not saying it's an easy game or anything like that. Obviously, it's going to be a tough game, but I like where Michigan stands, and I think our defense can stand up for it. And it all comes down to, and I'm sure Tanner will probably agree here, can we get above average quarterback play? And if we can do that, I think we all feel a lot better. Tanner, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's, it goes back to my point earlier about, people not thinking Michigan can kind of replace and reload, right? Texas had the 2nd most draft picks last draft.
Exactly.
At 11, right? And so not only did they lose Xavier Worthy and AD Mitchell, they also had Jordan Whittington was drafted. In addition to their 2 running backs that are hurt, Jonathan Brooks was drafted in the 2nd round. T'Vondre Sweat, Byron Murphy, like 2 best defensive linemen for them. So they're replacing a lot as well. So,
Yep.
it's not like just Michigan's going in and Texas is, got all 22 starters back. So, yeah, I definitely agree, man. The more I think about it and the more that people kind of underestimate Michigan in that game and, Texas is going to roll. Texas is back. They're going to the playoffs. We're winning the SEC year 1. Like, just let's see what happens in Ann Arbor, because I've got a feeling that Michigan's going to come to play, man. Like, I think that defense is going to get after Ewers. I think you can pressure him and make him uncomfortable. Most quarterbacks, let's face it, are really uncomfortable in the face of pressure. And Michigan's got 4 guys that can get to the quarterback. I mean, I just feel really good about it.
Possibly more. I mean, they're talking about sending Jayshon Barham on blitzes. TJ Guy, let's see what he can do this year. I mean, I just meant
rushing 4 on not like any backups. I just mean like you put on the field and you're in a 4-man front and you go left to right. You know the guys I'm talking about. Like you're getting after the quarterback and you've got 7 in coverage.
Right. Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, that's what they did against Washington. Right. So, I mean, definitely. And but here's the thing though, this offensive line we're going to go up against is probably the best offensive line we will face all year. Likely the best offensive line we'll face all year. So, I mean, that's the one thing. Now, if our defensive line can win that battle, it's going to be a long day for Quinn Ewers. So, I mean, I feel good about the game. I'm excited for it. And I told everybody in our community, don't get too worked up if we don't show a lot against Fresno State. It's going to be very vanilla. They're gonna go and do it and not show everything, right? You got to play your hand, right? So, or you got to hide your hand. So, just be on the lookout for that. I don't want my community getting all upset or freaking out if the Fresno looks a little dry. As long as we get the dub and it's a pretty decisive win, that's all that matters.
If we've learned nothing over the last year, let's learn that just because Michigan was 14-6 at half against Bowling Green, it don't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Like, those games, and Fresno State's probably one of the better non-conference teams that Michigan's played over the last few years, right? I mean, Jeff Tedford's retired though.
I know they lost the coach. Yeah. And Tedford's a hell of a coach. I mean, he's the guy who got Marshawn Lynch and Aaron Rodgers and Sean Jackson to Cal when he was there. They were a really good program. So, and this was his second stint at Fresno State. He had done a great job the first time, done a great job the second time. So, that's a big loss for them. I mean, it's still his roster, still the guys that he recruited there, but, it's going to be a different guy leading them in. So, I think, you got to go win that game, but I think Michigan can certainly out-talent Fresno State. That's a really solid group of 5 team, but this is Michigan we're talking about. So, and, I think you can, you may show a couple things here and there, right? Like you don't, you want them to think about things. You want to, try to put things on film. And maybe work off of some things last year. Cause Texas is watching last year's film as well, right? Like that's all they can watch. So, you try to kind of complement some of the things you did last year and counter those, right? Self-scout, see what they might be thinking. And Texas is going to be doing the same thing. They're gonna be self-scouting their team from last year. So yeah, these early season big time matchups are so interesting because you don't really know, because of college football, the turnover each year in the roster, you don't know what the other team's going to do. So yeah, I'm so excited for the Texas game too, man. I think it's going to be a hell of a game, hell of an atmosphere. Definitely. What else you got for us, Evan?
I think that this year they'll have a better offensive line than last year. Simply just for the fact, I mean, obviously I trust Sharon Moore, but simply just the fact that they're going to have tackles at tackle. Like they were playing 5 interior offensive linemen last year. And, it was so important that they actually, when the best offensive lineman on the team got hurt, they got better.
Yeah.
Because they kicked Barnhart in and then put Trente, who was actually the tackle, which kind of makes me question, why wasn't Trente over Barnhart to begin with? But at the same time, if Hinton, they said he's about the same weight, but he's slimmed down, if he actually seemed like he, wasn't sure how serious
he added 20 pounds.
Career. Oh, he did?
Yeah, but he looks the same. So that's good weight, right?
Okay.
Like he doesn't look bigger, but I think the comment he made too that I had heard, or maybe it was paraphrased because I listened to WTKA here in Ann Arbor, Sam Webb and the Michigan Insider. But basically the comment that he made was Miles Hinton was like, yeah, I'm finally at a place that cares about football. right? Coming from Stanford. And so
Right.
a place that takes it seriously with the nutrition, with the strength and conditioning. I mean, let's not forget Miles Hinton was at one point a top 10 prospect in his class, right? And now he's a 23-year-old fifth-year senior who's got NFL genes. His dad was a perennial Pro Bowler for the Colts in the 80s and 90s. So, my hot take, one of my hot takes for this year is I think Miles Hinton's a day 2 draft pick.
Damn. All right, that'd be legit, man.
I'm going for. I know. I'm going for it.
All right. Well, yeah, I like that. Yeah, and the one thing
I
will
would have cut in there, man. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good, man. Evan, the one thing I would say is the right tackle position is a little, I would say, unsettled right now. Andrew Gentry hasn't quite taken the lead yet. Right now, Andrew Gentry's battling Percy, and there's been some smoke about Evan Link. So, I mean, I think the offensive line's going to be good this year. I do. As good as last year. I mean, as good as last year at the end of the year, I don't know. Last year at the end of the year, in my opinion, that was a Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. We were better than Washington's offensive line. And I agree with you. Once Carson Barnhart slid in and Trente Jones played right tackle, that line was, in my opinion, the best line in America. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be as good as last year, but I do expect the line to play well. I mean, as you mentioned, Shomore said, as long as I'm here, the play is not going to really dip at all. So it's just the right tackle position for me. I'm just not sure yet. I got to see it on the field. And there's been some rumors as well, some smoke that there may be some battles that continue into the games, right? So maybe the right tackle position, just like last year, right? I mean, they were kind of rotating guys at right tackle. We'll see how that goes going into the season.
Yeah, that's true. I think they never really solidified their offensive line. Hinton started, I think, 4 starts to begin the season, then lost his job to Henderson. So I think they're just evaluating game by game, and they'll just switch whatever they think's best at that time. Which I think is what makes Sherwood Moore such an amazing coach, because he adjusted instantaneously. Like Barnhart got whooped off the line every time. Chop Robinson just blew past him every time. It's no chance. And they adapted, not only just let's simply run it, but they were using them just exploding off the line to their advantage, cutting inside and stuff like that. Donovan's touchdown run was, right past the guy. So, I think Coach Sherwood Moore's ability to adjust is going to be, I think so fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and that's actually a great point, Evan, and we got a sample of that last year. Sherwood Moore's in-game adjustment. We saw what he did against Penn State, the way he literally changed the entire game plan on the fly, to really get away from Chop Robinson. That is one thing that I feel like he's a great in-game adjuster. I feel like he is. Now, I need more of a sample size to know that he is. But that's one thing I'm excited about seeing is what is his ability to adjust in game as well as game plan overall, right? Because now Harbaugh's not here to help during the week, right? Now, Sherwood Moore, Kirk Campbell and co, Wink Martindale, it's on their shoulders. So that is one thing I want to see this new era of Michigan football, because do I think the culture has transitioned? I do. It seems to be so. We see it with the weight gains, like Tanner brought up. A lot of these players got a lot of good weight. The right players lost weight. And then you're also hearing about these things coming out of camp, like player-led drills, player-led after practices, the work ethics that everyone's just working their asses off. And not only that, some of the interviews, I know Tanner's watching those interviews, the coaches seem to have an air of confidence around them. Things are just going really well into camp right now. So, and actually, Tanner, I want to ask you, you've been, you've obviously been a fan of Michigan for a while. You've covered these off seasons. This is something I've noticed. There's really nothing negative coming out of camp this year. Typically you'll hear about, the cornerback play, is maybe questionable or certain positions questionable. I mean, I think the only thing we're hearing slightly negative, and it's not really anything too concerning, is right tackle.
I mean, nothing's going to be as positive as last year's offseason. I think everyone in that building knew, hey, we're going to do something special, right? But no, I mean, I think it kind of reminds me a lot of 21. Obviously, there's a lot more negativity around the program coming off of the 2020 season versus coming off the 2023 year. But no, I mean, I think you're getting a lot of young players getting hype. I mean, anytime this isn't really on topic, but anytime you have a guy like Donovan Edwards just unprompted mentioning Shannon Goodwin is having a really good camp and going to be a player, that's always a good sign to kind of hear some of these younger guys that are coming up. So. No, I mean, the right tackle thing, again, it could be good or bad. I mean, no shit, right? This Captain Obvious over here. But, it could be. it could be a negative, but if Evan Link is taking that job because he's legit and he's grown into his 6'6" frame and has, busted his ass all offseason to get to this point, then it might be a really good thing. So, no real negatives. It's just finding that the 5 right offensive linemen. But yeah, the Jair Hill stuff. It sounds like I listened to the roundtable this morning with Emgo Blog and Sam Webb and those guys. And Sam was pretty adamant that Jair Hill has done a great job at the quarterback 2 position. So
So I listened to that as well. And we give fall camp updates every week, and we've had it it's from what we know is that Jair's essentially won that job. And what's interesting, and Sam, and you could tell, Tanner, if you watched Sam today, he wanted to say Jair has won that job, but he kind of watched his words and he's like, well, it looks like, I forgot how he worded it, but he didn't want to be committal about it. But what's very interesting is that so early into camp, he's already secured the position. The battle is not prolonged into camp, it just appears Jair's ready for that role, which is, in my opinion, obviously great news. So we'll see, we'll see what that means. But I'll tell you right now, if we have Will Johnson locking down one side and you have Jair and the others just, handling his own, and then you got Wink Martindale dialing up these disguised blitzes, this defense should be just nasty.
100%. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Michigan with Wink is going to be able to really, be pretty flexible when it comes to their defensive calls. And, Wink obviously coming from the NFL, the talent discrepancy from, NFL team to NFL team is a lot different than what it is in college. And so I bet Wink is just holy shit, I got guys everywhere, right? At least compared to their talent level in college. And so, you got NFL players all over the field, right? He knows an NFL guy. He knows Will Johnson and Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant and all these dudes, these top 11 guys are going to play in the NFL at some point. I'm really excited too and curious to see what happens with the nickel spot. A lot of Zeke Berry hype, which, dude, again, he hasn't had a ton of snaps in Michigan. His high school film is disgusting, just a football player. But J.M. Burrows has played a lot of football here too. Has played some good football and has made some plays. So you've got, experience there. Both guys, J.M. Burrows is a 4th-year guy. Zeke Berry is a 3rd-year guy. So he got a ton of experience at that position. Maybe not always in the games, but they've been in the program 3 or 4 years. Obviously Makari Page coming back too. So that other safety spot where Rod would be, is going to be Wes Walker, it's going to be Mangum. Are any of the younger guys gonna step up? Jacob Oden, any of those guys, right? So QJ obviously being back is huge as well. I can't believe I forgot QJ. That hit on Igbuka got me. I had a few fireball shots at that point at the big house, and that hit from QJ got me fired up, man. So, gosh, his defense, I just keep talking about. I get myself excited, and then I won't shut up because his defense can be so damn good. Evan, go ahead, brother. TJ, go ahead. I'm directing the show. I don't even know what's going on.
You're all good, Tanner. Keep going, bro. All right, let's give a shout out to Dave's here. Dave's here gifted a membership to, I think it was Kinsley. So shout out Kinsley. You're now a member of the Michigan at the Voice of College Football. We appreciate you, Dave's here. We are officially, I think, $88 away from another hour. I don't know if we're going to hit it this week. That's all right, guys. We do appreciate everyone contributing to the show. It means a lot to us. We do have Keith. And by the way, Keith Rebar is on the line. We will get to Keith. I will not end the show while a caller is on the line. So we're going to get to you, Keith. But all right, Evan, what else you got for us, my friend?
One final thing. I just love how underrated or whatever they are this year. And just everyone, I have not seen a single person say that Michigan will beat Ohio State. Now, I would probably put it Ohio State 6, Michigan 40 right now, but it's not 0. It's not even close to 0. And everyone, whenever they talk about it, they just say, all these people left, they're probably not going to be that good. Replace quarterback. It's it doesn't matter who's gone. It matters who is there. They lost 1 first-round pick, which quarterback, obviously huge. JJ Levin was huge. 2 second-rounders, 2 third-rounders, and then, I'm not trying to disparage them. They were great. But, I think we're projected 4 first-rounders right now. I'm sure Makari probably go in the second, and that's not even counting Jay Sean Barham. It's this team is stock full of first-round, high-end first-round talent. It's ridiculous, how good I think they can be.
So I think we got 3 legitimate first-rounders. Will Johnson, Colson or Mason Graham, potentially Colson Loveland. Although the thing about tight ends is they just typically don't get drafted too high. So that's your flexible one, right? He could be first round, he could be second round. And then Kenneth Grant's my sleeper to make it into the first round. But I agree. There's a lot of high end talent here. Jay Sean Barham was Pro Football Focus's #1 rated linebacker. Ernest Hausman was a freshman All-American. So that's just defensively. We obviously know about Donovan Edwards. I mean, there's a ton of talent on this team. The question, I think the reality is, and we've talked about this before on our show, the reason why I think we're being slept on this year, even though it seems to be every year, new coach, new quarterback. Tanner, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Texas, they've got a ton of talent as they always do. And they didn't lose a head coach, and they brought their quarterback back, right? So obviously Michigan's not going to get as much hype in the media. They didn't go into the portal, get a fancy big name quarterback. But yeah, I think, a lot of times it's just, perception is what it is. Perception isn't always reality. I saw Urban Meyer say Ohio State might be the most talented team of the college football playoff era. Was that what he said, or did he say Ohio State team?
Best Ohio State team ever.
Okay. I don't know, man. I watched 2019 Ohio State. So no, go ahead, buddy.
Right. I think it might be a Zach Smith or something, but he said that Urban is just super hyperbolic. Everything is the best thing ever. Everything's the worst thing ever. So, I think that's just kind of like his personality and how he perceives things. But, it's really funny because it's just putting a ton of pressure on Ryan Day.
100%. And that team, look, individually has a ton of talent, right? But how does it mesh together? How do they play together? How do they play together in that defense? Caleb Downs, yeah, he's a really good player. But they're talking about this guy like he's Ronnie Lott, or Ed Reed, or whatever safety you want to use. I mean, he's a good player. But I also saw Max Bredesen in the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
I also saw Caleb Downs loafing in the Rose Bowl when Tyler Morris is scoring. So it's just going to be interesting with I don't know. I wouldn't call them personalities, but I do think that there's a lot of big time guys in that locker room that are getting paid big time money. So what happens the first time there's some sort of crack, right? There are so many big time players on that team that what if they lose? What if they lose a game or two? We talked about the schedules. College football, you're not going to go undefeated every year. I don't think there will be an undefeated team from the Big Ten or the SEC this year. ACC, you might sneak one in depending on how good Clemson or Florida State are. Or in the Big 12, you may have somebody come through, right? I don't know, maybe a Kansas State or something. They're pretty damn talented. What if they come through, go undefeated? But otherwise, in these Big Two conferences, you're going to lose some games. So what does that team look like the moment that Will Howard throws a really bad interception? Because spoiler alert, it's going to happen. Have you watched this Kansas State film? Right. So, I don't know. It's interesting to see kind of the love for some of these other teams. Same with Oregon, Oregon played 2 top 15 teams last year and lost. Their only ranked win was over, was it Liberty that they played? I can't remember. So it's these teams are getting all this love and it's go beat somebody. Which, to fair to them, it's not. You can't go beat anybody in the offseason, and they're not the ones hyping themselves up. But I want to see something first.
I mean, Ibuka said that Michigan had no talent.
So I want to give. I know people ran with that. The way that I read that was, I think somebody led him into that question, and I think his point was even if you say they don't have any talent, we got all the talent, we still got to go win. I think was more his point. I want to give the benefit of the doubt on that one because a lot of people went and they got their retweets on that one. Which, hey, don't blame you. Get Elon to pay you, but I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful in that way. Because he's never really popped. He's never popped off. He just seems like a quiet kid. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Right. And I think, who knows what the offense is going to look like? It's probably going to be, an amazing running game, but their offense has been built on these spectacular passers, Haskins and Stroud, and then Will Howard's not that great at passing. Of course, he's a runner, so they're going to utilize that. But, last year, if you watch their offense, it wasn't pretty. They're so stacked with talent. They're going to beat the Indianas, the Northwesterns. They can put in their defensive tackles at running back, and they're going to beat them. It doesn't matter who's there. But when they play the decent talent, when they played Penn State, it was a mess. It was just drop back, throw it to Marv, fake handoff, throw it to Marv. Look at Ibuka, throw it to Marv. It's 100%. That was their offense. And now they don't have Marv. I don't think a true freshman is going to be the best Ohio State wide receiver ever right out the gate. So what are they going to look like?
Yeah, no, I'd like to get Tanner's opinion on this because we here on our channel. I'm not sold on Will Howard, man. Like he's a 60% passer. Yeah, he can make plays with his legs, and he does improvise sometimes, which obviously can save you. But he has a fairly high touchdown to interception ratio, which isn't the best. You know, it's essentially 2-1. Do you think Will Howard is something that is going to elevate them further than Kyle McCord?
I don't know. It depends on what the offense looks like under Chip Kelly. Like to Evan's point, you know, they're really probably going to lean on the running backs and the quarterback run more than they have since JT Barrett, right? Since Ryan Day was hired. So what does that look like though? You know, not just the receivers, but what does that look like when you bring in, you know, and look, they're good offensive linemen, right? But what does that look like when guys that were really brought in to be pass protectors? You know, are you getting down and dirty on 4th and 2? Or are you going to run a jet sweep like you did against Notre Dame? Are you going to run?
Is that even their team's mentality? Because we haven't really seen it. And not only that, are they going to have luck against our defense? No.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They're not running on us. They're not running on us, dude. No way.
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, you know, they've got Ibuka. They've got a lot of highly ranked guys that, you know, coming out of high school that were 5 stars that are coming up. But it's like, you know, I've heard all this stuff about Jeremiah Smith, but it's like, Marvin Harrison did not play much as a freshman. And I know Marvin Harrison Jr. was not ranked as the #1 player in the country. So I get that. But Marvin Harrison Jr. might be one of the best receivers in college that I've seen since like Larry Fitzgerald. Maybe take it back that far. So what does that look like when you lose him, that's the guy who bailed you out all year long, like all year. And when you didn't have him against Missouri, it was not pretty. And I know those bowl games are glorified scrimmages at this point. So I don't know, man. It's going to be very interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to step out. Thanks for taking my call. Go Blue.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for calling in, man. Go Blue.
Yo, TJ, I know I'm about to bounce out of here in a little bit.
All right.
I may extend it if, you know, a little bit. We'll see what's going on. But I just wanted to shout out Buckeyes 2024 Natty in the chat. He likes to come onto ours and make fun of us. Really appreciate it. He said I like girly drinks because I said I like hard ciders. You know, I got a full bourbon collection if you wanted to see it. I just don't drink that all the time. I drink different things. So I just saw him in here. I thought it was very funny. I just want to give him a shout out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're good, man. Yeah, I got a little arch nemesis, Buckeye Steve. He likes to give me shit all the time. I don't mind him though. He's a good friend of the program. It's always all love. So let's give a shout out to Justin here. $5 super chat. Has anyone seen Providence Day tight end? He's like Colson Loveland. I was at their last game. He's talented. Is that a 2026, Justin? Because I'm going to tell you right now, the 2026 board for Michigan is loaded. They have a couple guys they're really in on. 2027, they're already focused on the in-state kid. I think his last name's Ennis. I could be wrong on that, but it's something like that. I mean, the kid's like ranked one of the top players in the entire country already in 2027. So, and also a reminder for everybody watching the show, next Tuesday on Michigan Live, we're going to have Trey Taylor for an interview. Looking forward to that. And then we're also, which is 2027 QB1 target for Michigan. And then we're also going to have I don't know his name off the top of my head, but we're going to have a Fresno State beat reporter, guy who covers the team. So he's going to be on answering questions, and we're going to go through Ferris State for our week 1, because it is game week next week. Cannot wait. One more super chat, and then we'll get to our next caller, Keith. Tom Bouchard, Ryan Day eats spoons full of butter. Go Blue. He probably puts mayonnaise in his coffee, Tom. It wouldn't surprise me.
That's a Will Levis type.
Exactly.
I saw he has a deal with Helm. I mean, hey, in this age, you know, get your advertisements, get your money. You know, do something weird, get noticed. I don't know.
Definitely. And then Tanner, let me know, like, just whenever you got a dip, man, put it in the chat.
I'll probably stay out for another 15. Yeah, I'll probably chat you.
We got 2 more callers for the night. We were not able to reach our $100 goal. I appreciate everyone giving their contributions to the show. We always appreciate that. It means a lot to us. Let's get our man here. So, Tanner, I don't know if you know our good friend here, Keith Rebar. He is the leader of the Jack Tuttle fan club. What is up, Keith? How you doing, man?
Going good, guys. Tanner, you should like this. If you like to see good offensive play, there's a YouTube short out there. I can't find it because it was a short, but it said just one word, and it had Sharon Moore, when he was offensive line coach, just yelling at the top of his lungs, bending over and putting everything he had in, and all he said was bust. And it would cut to a Michigan offensive lineman mauling a defender a la Joe Thomas used to in the NFL, just mauling them. And he does it about 6 times. Bust! and these guys were constant, yeah. So I wish I would have saved it or downloaded it or something, because I just can't find it again, but I'd love to see it. If anybody gets it, point it out to me.
There we go. If anyone knows about it, send it to us in the chat. We'll take a look. But so what do you got for us, Keith? You haven't called in a few weeks, man. I haven't heard from you. What's going on, man?
I actually talked to you last week, but I missed 2 weeks before that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Good deal.
I was at a political convention a couple of weeks ago, and I just couldn't get out of that political convention. So what I got for you, a couple things is, one is JP pulled up the Vegas line on Michigan first round draft picks. It's 3.75. So
JP as in Josh Pate?
Yes.
Okay.
And one of those guys anyways, but and the Vikings wire, I got an early mock draft out of it, and it has 4 from Michigan, Coastal Loveland, going in the first round too. So there's Vegas believes Michigan is much more likely to have 4 than 3 in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, so I guess we would say Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Colson Loveland. I think that'd be the 4. What do you think, Tanner?
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Possibly Jay Sean.
Yeah, Jay Sean. I mean, think about the edges too, right? Like,
I don't know if they're first round though.
I know, but I think Derek Moore is a guy. I keep going back to this. I'm typically not a guy that cares much about recruiting rankings, but when I do care about them, it's basically the trajectory of a guy, right? So when you have a guy who's top 50, he comes in as a freshman in 2022, he plays a little bit. Last year, he gets a hell of a lot better, right? He's better against the run. He's better rushing the passer. What does that year 2 to 3 leap look like, right? When the game slows down, you've been in the weight room for 2.5 years. You've been in the playbook. You've got a defensive coordinator who's been in the NFL for the last 20 years. What does that look like, right? So that would not surprise me to see him if he has a big year, goes and gets 10 or 12 sacks, right? Like, that's where I kind of look at it from. So now, look, I'm not an NFL scout. I don't think I'd ever want to be. Those guys are on the road so much to even get started, But so I'm not sitting here like, oh yeah, the measurables, the bend, the ankle flexibility, but just just from a guy that I think could have a good year and play himself in at least day 2 pick.
Yeah. I mean, he does have the measurables. I'll give you that. He definitely has the archetype to be a high level draft pick. It's just we just haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen him take that next step. Maybe this year he does. Maybe under Wink Martindale. It really opens up for him. And I agree with you too, that 2 to 3 year jump, you really see players really take it. I was hoping to see it out of Braden McGregor. It never really transpired. But we'll see. It'll be fun to watch this.
He's playing. He's doing well in the NFL with the Jets though. Like he's playing well. He's a guy should have been drafted. I thought his Rose Bowl performance was fantastic. I mean, the way he got after the quarterback. I mean, I thought he had been a really good player the last 2 years. And, he's a guy that, not to get on a tangent about a guy that's no longer here, but like he tore his ACL during COVID, right? So or right before COVID. So his rehab process is a mess. He doesn't play much in 21 and then 22, 23, like he's pretty damn good, so I think there's something there for him, but and to Nevada Buck and Kirk Partner Felons, that's a great name. Josiah Stewart. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like a guy that comes from Coastal Carolina after a couple of years. Oh my God. I didn't see the username. That's incredible. But no, Josiah Stewart comes from Coastal Carolina. Is pretty good last year, right? So what is the leap after being in the Big Ten for 1 year, playing against Alabama, playing against Ohio State, Washington, the teams they faced last year? What does that look like in the second year in the Big Ten? That's another guy that could be poised for a big jump, especially playing against, playing alongside the other 3 guys, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. So we'll see how it goes. But all right, Keith, what else you got for us, my friend?
Yeah, fun fact. I think Klein's measurements are about 6'4" or 6'5" and 280, something like that. And we know
280. No, he's not 280.
Let's
He
see,
is
it's like,
6'5". though.
240?
6'5",
6'6", 247 according to the roster.
Yeah,
6'6", 247. Okay.
And faster than Colson.
And and we know he's German, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. Do you know what Klein means in German?
I do not, Keith. I'm ready though. What does it mean?
Little.
What oxymoron? There you go.
Like
He's
Klein
very
Kind
opposite
is a little kid. Klein Kind. So we should make a cute nickname for him. Call him Little.
Little Klein.
Just Little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see.
Little Klein is duplicative. Yeah. But Klein means little. So yeah, I just always thought that's funny ever since I saw that. I had 2 years of German in high school and 2 at U of M. So I know a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever go abroad?
What's that? Oh yeah, I've been to Germany 2 times, twice in my life. Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool, Keith.
Yeah. But football isn't the same over there as it is here.
No, that's why he came over here, right? That's why he went to a prep school in Georgia to, kind of like what David Ojabo did. He came from Scotland or something like that and played over I think Maryland. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see these foreign kids come over here, get to these high schools. Like we have another one, Emmanuel Beagle. That's another German kid to be on the lookout for. He was in last year's recruiting class. There's a lot of hype around him.
Kid from France.
Yeah, it's another one. Yeah, from that one that I forgot the name of that program that that one guy has. But,
oh yeah, that's where we got Welshoff and a couple other
Beagle.
guys.
And
yeah,
Beagle. Yep.
Yeah. So hey, man, those guys got good feet because they just grew up playing soccer, right? So
there's talent over there. You just got to develop it.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, what else you got for us, my friend?
That'll be it for tonight. My phone's at 9%, so it's going to kick out on me real soon.
All right, Keith. Well, put it on a charger, man. But we appreciate you always calling in. Thank you, man. Go Blue.
All right, go Blue.
Thanks, Keith.
Okay.
All right, we got one more caller, Jackson and Antoine. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to be ending it here. We got one more caller. We did not reach our $100 goal for the hour, so I apologize for that. Thank you for calling in. We will definitely take your guys' call next week during game week. Our last caller of the night, Burks the Wolverine. What is up, buddy?
Yo, what's up, man? So I'm just curious, what team do you have that could be like a upset that's not Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas? Mine would be probably Washington, just because you got a coach in Jed Fisher. And when I mean by upset, I mean by like a team that, hey, we can't sleep on them, Right. I'm putting Washington just because you got Jed Fisher, you got Will Rogers, a QB who could throw the ball. You got, it's at Washington. I've actually been to the campus before because I have some family who lives there. And, it's a pretty loud environment or stadium. And it's actually, and this is going to be a game that, it's going to be packed just because it's, Michigan's coming. And not only that, but, Washington just had a great season last year. You're going to have a new team. I know it's a lot of newbies and stuff, but you have a coach in Jed Fisher, Will Rogers, and, a lot of stuff. They got a lot of guys he took from Arizona with him. And I feel like that could be a game where hey, they may get Michigan can't sleep on them, but I'm just just curious what your guys' teams are that Michigan should watch out for that aren't Oregon, Ohio State, and Texas.
So looking at the schedule, Tanner, does USC count? Because I don't think it does. If we're looking at Burks' qualifications here, I think the only school that might qualify is Northwestern.
That's exactly who I was going to say. They were so much better last year. They had all the issues and the noise from the scandal, the hazing scandal. Fitzgerald gets fired, hire an interim coach. They get to a bowl game, right? Yeah. And, obviously they lose Preeb. They lose some guys, but they got AJ Henning back. I'm always going to be concerned about the game before Ohio State, right? It typically gets a little weird, 2016 IU. I think 2017 they had to go to Camp Randall, and that's when Brandon Peters got a concussion. 2018 Indiana was super weird. 2019 they handled Indiana. 21 they handled Maryland, but then the Illinois game 22, and then last year the Maryland game got weird. That's always just weird, right? Because you're God, we're so close to this game. And it's like you're trying to play football, but you're trying not to show too much. You're trying not to get hurt. So that game before the game is always going to be weird to me. Like that's always going to be my big concern.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, so I guess Burks, we're going to come with Northwestern. I mean, like, although I would say this about Washington, and maybe Tanner, maybe you agree. I don't know. I just feel like there's such a void of talent. They haven't reloaded. They lost so much. They're implementing an entire new play scheme and structure. I don't anticipate Washington to be that. I don't think they'll be that good this year. I think they might be maybe a 6-win team at best 7. I don't know. What do you think, Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, they lost a lot, right? Like they lost,
Mhm.
One of the best quarterbacks in the country, one of the best, 3 of the best receivers in the country. 3 guys got drafted.
Yep.
I don't know what the running back situation looks like. But yeah, I mean, a lot of guys, gone to the NFL. DeBoer's gone. I mean, and Jed Fish did a great job at the University of Arizona. But he wasn't able to go and get Noah Fafita and his wide receiver McMillan, who I'm not going to even try to pronounce his first name because it's very, very difficult. He couldn't get those guys to come with him in the portal. The other thing about Washington in the Seattle area, there's a lot of alums out there, and I think you're going to see quite a lot of maize and blue, especially depending on how the start of their season goes too. I mean, you see that on the East Coast, right? And now look, Washington's a lot better football program than Maryland, Rutgers, some of these sleepy Big Ten teams. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised for it to be, 40, 60 Washington, Michigan fans in Husky Stadium.
Yeah, I just saw a comment by Juju. I'm trying to see if I can confirm it.
Wow.
What else you got for us, Burks, while I look for something right now?
Yeah, no. And then are you guys Detroit Lions fans?
Oh, shit. Bad
All
news,
right.
guys.
that's
Hold on,
all
I gotta bring some up, Burks.
Yeah, sure.
Go on. No, go on, man. But this is gonna
Yeah,
we're about to be in a bad mood right now.
All right. What are you like more optimistic for this year? Like I'm a Packers fan, you know that, TJ, but because I grew up in Menominee, Michigan. But what are you like more excited for, Michigan or your Detroit Lions football? I'm really curious on this take, just because Michigan is they have a completely new team, kind of, mostly Michigan, not like all, and then Lions are pretty successful and they can make a move to Super Bowl. So I'm curious.
I mean, it's a great question, Burks. I mean, the reality is, right now we're living real good in the state of Michigan in terms of Lions and our team, Michigan. Unless you're a state fan, then you're really going through it. But I'd say honestly, this season I'm probably more. I am because we just won a natty with Michigan. I am more excited for the Lions season because this is literally the Lions' year to win a national or to win a Super Bowl. I think it was Sports Illustrated that just projected them, or maybe it was ESPN. One of those publications just projected them to win it. They're a good team, man. They're loaded. It's their year, just like it was Michigan's years last year where they were loaded. Everything's kind of aligned for the Lions. As long as they stay healthy, they should be on a hell of a playoff run. They're even better than they were last year. So that's where I am with that. Michigan, I am extremely excited for, though. We are very blessed in this state to have 2 extremely good football teams right now. So I'm going to go Lions, Burks. I mean, Tanner, you're a Lions fan, yeah?
I am, man. It's I got a Lions mini helmet back there somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I've always been a bigger college football fan than NFL fan. So just growing up, being a fan of the Lions and Michigan, like, Michigan was typically better, even when they weren't great, like they were better. But I don't know. I'm very excited for the Lions season, but like, I don't know, man. There's just something about going to the big house, hearing the victors, reuniting with all your friends at the tailgate, getting into your seats, watching the video with James Earl Jones and the team touches the banner. And, there's just something about that you can't beat. And I love the Lions to death. And I've watched them through 0-16, through the Patricia years, through all the BS. And so it's just it's rewarding to watch them be competitive and win playoff games. And if they ever get to a Super Bowl and win, I may cry. I don't know. But Michigan football has just always just been that thing for me. So I am always going to go Michigan football.
Yeah, same. Like for me, it's obviously the Michigan Packers, it's
it must be nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I could die peacefully because I saw Packers win the Super Bowl in 2010 and Michigan won now. So, hopefully your Lions can win and you guys can die peacefully.
I appreciate that. That's much nicer than anything I would have said about the Green Bay Packers. So I appreciate how kind you are.
Yeah, of course. No way.
What else
Did
you
Nate
got for us,
Marshall really
Burks?
flip? Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Wait,
it's being
did
projected
already?
by arguably the best man in the business, so that's not good.
This is bad.
Yeah, that's not good. That's our best fucking player right now. I'm actually
This
pretty
is
pissed.
so bad. Why am I not surprised? This NIL crap.
Hey man, why
Well,
would
what's
you not let him
crazy
play
is
for
it
Hugh
kind of
Freeze?
came out of nowhere. I mean, not that it came completely out of nowhere. We know Auburn's been sniffing around, but I mean, Nate Marshall's been so locked in. His real good friend Jalen Williams is committed to Michigan, and not only that, like he didn't even go to Big Cat Weekend, or he instead came to barbecue at the Big House. Like he's been nothing but locked in. He has given the coaches nothing but good vibes. And like this, and the Auburn smoke really quieted down. So I'm really surprised to kind of see this come out of left field. Not good. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I mean, fuck, we don't sugarcoat shit anyways, but like, there's just no way to angle that. Like, it's just not good.
So I'm not going to steal any insider information, but it sounds like Michigan's still, battling from what I just saw. So
Fair enough.
we'll
Okay.
see. But also it's like, dude, at what point do you just draw the line, right? Of like, ask, like, I don't know what the, I don't like to assume things ever. No, that doesn't. I don't think Jalen Williams is gone. No, absolutely not. I think Luis Esposito has done a great job recruiting him. I think Michigan's the place for him. I don't know what Auburn's defensive line class, interior D line class looks like, but I mean, he'd been flirting with Auburn for months, right? This is going back to early summer, late spring. So, but at a certain point, it's like, all right, well, reaffirm your commitment. We'll give you X amount. And then it's like, you can ask again and ask again and ask again. And it's like, I don't know if that's what it is, but I think at some point, sometimes you just got to cut bait if that's what it's going to be about, So it sucks, but
it does suck because like it does suck because like kids can be flipped so easy now. It's a bitch. And then like Moose brings up TJ, that means Williams is gone too. I'm going to tell you right now, if Williams is gone, we have a problem. It's already an issue. Like this is
I don't
not
think
good.
so. Nah, I don't think
But
so.
I hope not. But if that does happen, and we have a serious issue on the defensive line because yeah, that's not
They're both from Illinois, those two, I'm pretty sure.
No, they're very tight, but I think Jalen Williams is always going to be the one that would stick with his commitment at Michigan more than Nate Marshall. Just a hunch.
Yeah.
But also, like, guys, season. Look, let's bring the vibes up. Season starts in 9 days, right?
Yeah, I know.
We just got a big time receiver, the highest rated receiver commit since DPJ. I mean, we're about to watch Michigan. We're about to watch college football on Saturday, so it's not all bad, right? Like. And also, hey man, flips happen all the time. Remember Dax Hill flipped? It was the end of the world, and then he flipped back. And it's like, got the transfer portal, right? Like, hey, what if there's a 5-star freshman that Michigan missed out on? I'm just making it up. And then it's like, hey, I want to come to Michigan, do it right my sophomore year, right? Like, so it's such a moving. There's so many moving parts nowadays. It's like it's hard to get that into it. Like I used to be like I got on 24/7 Sports way back in the day for Jabril Pepper's commitment. That's how long I've been doing. But I remember Shane Morris's commitment. Like, oh, we got to force a top 10 quarterback. We're gonna win a national championship. You know what I mean? So it's fun to follow. But I think obviously it's important to continue to recruit high school kids and develop them. But if you have some misses like this where hey he does go to Auburn and you don't have an edge, like let's go find a guy in the portal and we'll be okay. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think it's all bad.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we got a pretty tight recruiting fan base here. Everyone's pretty into it.
I'm all for it, man. I love it.
I hear you. It's just we'll see. But I agree with you. I think you're right, Tanner. We have a season that is starting in a week and a half. There is a lot of good momentum. Andrew Marsh just committed, and we don't know the outcome of the Nate Marshall thing. So let's kind of sit back and wait. I'll tell you this from Michigan. There's no way Michigan's not going to respond. We'll just see how it goes. So until we see the next move, the counter move by Michigan, we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully next Tuesday I can bring an update for you guys, but we'll just have to see from there. But we'll keep moving. And I agree with Tanner. Let's focus on the season right now. We'll figure out the Nate Marshall stuff as it comes. But all right, Burks, you got anything else for us before we move forward?
Yeah, no, just what do you guys think of Andrew Babola's recruitment? Because it's taking a while, and I'm really I'm starting to think he's going to go to Stanford just because he might start right away. He's that good, and I don't want that to happen, but I don't know.
I don't think he wants to start right away. Like what I'd heard on I think it was a podcast is that he likes that Michigan is telling him you can develop under us. You don't need to play right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because that sometimes can be a detriment to kids, especially at those positions that take a long time to develop. So no, I mean, I it just depends on what he's about, right? Like if a kid goes to Stanford, I mean, you're going to Stanford, right? And it's not just the education, which is top notch. It's the networks, the relationship building. You're in Palo Alto. You're in the hub of like the tech world, right? And like all the companies and organizations that are around the Bay Area. So like, if that's what he's about and is, that's what he wants to do, then I can't fault the kid. But if it's about football and academics, well, then the best combo that you're going to get in your finalists is at the University of Michigan, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. I know he pushed it back a little bit, but I know that there was some talk that once again Auburn was involved, but that just doesn't make any sense about regarding how important academics are to the kid. So I think it's Michigan, Stanford still. I think as of now, I think it's Michigan. No insider info, but like I know some people. Like I think it's Michigan if I had to guess right now. But
yeah, that's also kind of where I'm sitting as well, Tanner. I'm kind of thinking it's Michigan. It seems to be the common denominator. I mean, the only thing that I know on my end is that it has been Michigan, Stanford, and Auburn's come pretty aggressively with NIL money recently. But at the end of the day, people at Auburn think it's Michigan. People at Stanford people at Auburn think it's Auburn, Michigan. People at Stanford think it's Michigan, Stanford. And the people at Michigan actually think it's a Michigan, Stanford battle as well. So we'll just have to see. The decision's supposed to come in the next 2 weeks. So we'll find out together. I'll tell you what, we could use that land because that'd be a big one. I mean, it'd be major. I think we all agree Michigan offers probably we know. I don't know why it's so hard for him to figure it out. I mean, I'm sure being in his position, though, it's not the easiest decision. So we'll just have to see, Burks. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, no, if he commits, man, I will just troll on Ohio State fans because they have not gotten a 5-star O-line this year and last year. And like they just missed on like the number one guy, O-line guy. He went to Tennessee.
Yeah, he got offered a lot of money, man. He got offered a lot of money for
Tennessee.
Nebraska had to back down because they were offering so much money.
So it's hard for me to like take recruiting seriously at this point.
I know.
Oh, you can't.
Like, and you think a guy's coming and then last minute changes and
it's so effed up. It's so
effed up. It's crazy, man.
Effed up. Yeah. All right, man. Well, take care, guys. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Burks. All right, let's read this super chat and then we'll get out of here, Tanner. Jackson Johnson, thank you for the $10 super chat. I noticed a little while ago y'all were talking about the Lions. Here's a fun fact. 3 of 4 NFL titles for the Detroit Lions were against Cleveland Browns. They were in 1952, 1953, and 1957. Ah, yes, the good old days, Jackson. Yeah, that was.
My grandpa was born in 1952, so.
Hey, he was alive for it, man.
No one was a twinkle in a twinkle of anyone's eye.
Hey, it's our year this year, man. It only took like 80 years, but no big deal.
No.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everybody who called in. I want to thank everybody who was chatting in the comments, watching the show, liking, sharing. We appreciate it. We had Tanner come on. Tanner, you were excellent today. I really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
You have an open invitation. I'd love to have you on again in the future. We appreciate that.
Sure.
And let our community know where can they find you and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you can check us out. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Blue by 90. We have our main Blue by 90 show. We have another show where we kind of talk about like PFF grades and go in depth on the game and stuff that's a little bit more intellectual than our main podcast where we just kind of shoot the shit for an hour. You can check us out on Twitter at Blue by 90. I'm Tanner Wu-Tang. Feel free to say what's up and, appreciate everybody having me. And it was a lot of fun.
Definitely, man. Appreciate it. All right. So you guys can find me at TJ_Ronin. And as you guys know, we will have our Tuesday show next week, 8 p.m. We are going to have Trey Taylor on for an interview. We're going to have a Fresno State beat writer on for to break down the game for next week. And then next Thursday, 8 p.m. call-in show. I got Darren Talks Ball. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys next week. And as you know, it is always go blue.